Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores and general manager Chris Grier have quietly put together one of the more impressive franchise turnarounds in recent memory. In the span of about 18 months, the Dolphins have gone from an 0-7 start in 2019 to a 10-6 finish in 2020, and they look to be just getting started considering their young roster and abundance of first-round picks over the next few years. One of the biggest question marks that remains, however, is the quarterback position after Tua Tagovailoa's underwhelming 2020 season. So for my first rookie review of the 2021 offseason, I took a close look at every play from Tua's rookie season, along with some from when he wasn't on the field as well, to get a better idea of what to expect moving forward. One of Tua's biggest strengths is his performance against the Blitz. Among starting quarterbacks against the Blitz, Tua ranked 10th in passer rating, 12th in touchdown percentage, and 5th in interception percentage, while ranking 1st among rookie QBs in all of those categories according to PFF. His ability to stay calm with pass rushers coming at him is very impressive, especially for a rookie. There were countless times over the course of the season where Tua made an unblocked blitzer miss within the pocket, and this play from Week 13 against Cincinnati is a great example. The Dolphins came out in an empty formation with a running back, Patrick Laird, split out wide. Originally, Bengals linebacker Akeem Davis-Gaither lined up out wide opposite Laird, but just before the snap, Cincinnati audibled to a zero blitz, and because Miami is in an empty formation, there are only 5 possible pass protectors against 6 pass rushers, meaning one rusher will get into the backfield unblocked. The Dolphins called 2 jet protection, meaning the weak side of the offensive line, which in this case is the right side, will slide, while the left guard and left tackle block the defensive linemen that are covering them. Instead of waiting until after the snap to identify which blitzer was unblocked, Tua's advanced understanding of the protection call allowed him to prepare for the unimpeded rusher pre-snap, which made it much easier for him to avoid that rusher once he got the ball. His tremendous footwork within the pocket gave him enough time to find Devontae Parker in an extremely tight window for a solid gain. Saying that Tua's pocket presence is advanced for a rookie is a massive understatement, and that trait really helps out his offensive line in pass protection. Miami had 6 offensive linemen who took more than 400 snaps in 2020, and 5 of those 6 linemen were notably better in pass protection in Tua's games compared to in Fitzpatrick's games. Jesse Davis's allowed pressure percentage decreased by 4.2%, Austin Jackson's decreased by 2%, Robert Hunt's decreased by 1.8%, Eric Flowers' decreased by 1.1%, as did Ted Karras's. When we see a large discrepancy in offensive line play between 2 quarterbacks like this, it can usually be attributed to the quarterback with less productive offensive line play holding onto the ball longer, but for this Dolphins team, the opposite was true. According to Pro Football Focus, in 2020, Ryan Fitzpatrick's average time to throw was 2.20 seconds, while Tua's was 2.36 seconds, so the fact that Miami's offensive line was significantly better with Tua under center was not a result of Tua getting rid of the ball faster than Fitzpatrick, it was a result of Tua's great pocket presence and ability to sense pressure. Now, I want to move on to what I think Tua needs to improve on for him to develop into a true franchise quarterback, beginning with his struggle to read defensive leverage on deep balls. Take this play from Week 8 against the Rams as an example. Tua wants to target his X or weak side receiver Preston Williams on a go route, and I want you to pay close attention to the way Rams corner Darius Williams defends this route. Pre-snap, Williams is aligned in off coverage, and when corners are in off coverage like this, they're very often on an island, meaning they don't have safety help over the top. In situations like this, the defensive back almost always uses what's known as stack technique, where they place themselves between the receiver and the end zone, making sure they don't get beat over the top. Against stacking defensive backs, especially when they're in off coverage, quarterbacks need to throw to their receiver's back shoulder in order to give that receiver the ability to fend off the defensive back using their body, but Tua instead tried to lead his receiver over the top and almost threw an interception. His post-snap process was downright perfect up until the throw, too. After the snap, he looked to his right, which drew the deep middle safety away from Williams, then he keyed the safety to make sure that Williams was isolated against single coverage, but he missed the throw because he misread the DB's leverage. When Tua decided to throw this ball, Darius Williams was clearly stacking and there was no vertical separation, so he should have thrown to his receiver's back shoulder. Here's another example from Week 16 against the Raiders. Miami is running a spear concept, which has crossing routes from receivers on opposite sides of the field and a go route to one side. The deeper crossing route is designed to move the safety away from the middle of the field, creating a one-on-one matchup for the other crossing receiver. After Tua takes the snap, the cornerback covering Mike Gesicki, Nevin Lawson, is using trail technique, which is when the defensive back places himself between the receiver and the ball. Gesicki has a step on Lawson, which should tell Tua to lead him vertically, but he instead throws a jump ball that forces Gesicki to work back and try to make a very difficult contested catch. I don't think that Tua's issues with reading leverage necessarily stem from accuracy issues because he was very accurate when throwing deep while in college. In 2019, Tua ranked second among SEC quarterbacks in adjusted completion percentage while throwing 20 or more yards downfield behind only Joe Burrow, and he ranked first in that category in 2018. The fact that Tua was so accurate when throwing downfield in college is encouraging because it points to this problem being fixable, or at least being a much easier fix than it would be if Tua was downright inaccurate. Going into the 2020 NFL Draft, many analysts complimented Tua's mental processing and ability to properly go through his progressions, but during his rookie season, his progression speed was inconsistent. At times, he would unnecessarily speed up his process, which would cause him to miss open receivers. Take this play from Week 13 against Cincinnati as an example. Bengals safety Jesse Bates is lined up at the bottom of the screen opposite Dolphins tight end Mike Gesicki, which is a dead giveaway for man coverage. So in response to the man coverage identifier, Miami called a switch release smash concept to the bunch side of the formation, where the number 2 releases vertically and the number 3 releases outside, which should force the Bengals defensive backs to work through traffic. The objective is to create a collision between the 2 inside defensive backs in an effort to get Jakeem Grant open over the top. The switch release does exactly what it was designed to do, allowing Jakeem Grant to blow by Bengals cornerback Mackenzie Alexander, but by the time the separation was created, Tua was already throwing to Mike Gesicki deep down the sideline. His issues with going through progressions weren't just a result of him speeding up his process either. He also missed open receivers because of his tendency to lock onto one read, which happened later in that same game against Cincinnati. Miami called another switch release, this time on the goal line, and wide receiver Mac Hollins got open over the middle, but Tua failed to see him and instead made a much more difficult throw to Devontae Parker that fell incomplete on 3rd down. Like his struggle to read leverage, this is an issue that doesn't concern me all that much because when he was at Alabama, Tua had the luxury of an elite offensive line. But so far in Miami, he hasn't had that, so it's understandable that he felt the need to speed up his process or felt that he didn't have enough time to move on to his next read because he didn't trust his offensive line. Before I'm ready to knock Tua for inconsistent mental processing, I need to see him operate in an offense where he does trust his offensive line and feels comfortable in the pocket. Now, the much bigger issue that I have with Tua is that he struggled when operating outside of the offensive structure. In 2020, Miami's offense was designed for the quarterback to get the ball out relatively quickly, and when Tua was able to play within the structure of the offense, his performance was usually good. According to Pro Football Focus, when Tua got the ball out in under 2.5 seconds, he completed 71.6% of his passes, he threw 9 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions, and posted a passer rating of 99.6. But when he held onto the ball for more than 2.5 seconds, Tua's completion percentage dropped to only 52.9%, he threw only 2 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and posted a passer rating of 67.4. Another way to get an idea of how good a quarterback is at operating outside of the system is by comparing their performance when throwing from within the pocket to their performance when throwing from outside the pocket, without including designed rollouts. According to Sports Info Solutions, Tua was solid when throwing from within the pocket, completing 72% of his passes and averaging 6.3 yards per attempt, to go along with a passer rating of 85.6. When he was outside of the pocket, though, Tua's numbers were abysmal. He completed only 50% of his passes, averaged only 5.7 yards per attempt, and posted a passer rating of 67.4. Take a look at this play from Week 11 against Denver. Miami called a mesh concept with a built-in pick from the tight end Mike Gesicki designed to get the bunch side number 1, Jakeem Grant, open over the middle. The Broncos, however, are using a coverage concept called trap coverage, which is often used against bunch formations to counter switch releases from receivers. The corner aligned to the inside of the bunch will take whichever receiver releases inside, while the corner to the outside of the bunch will take whichever receiver releases to the outside, and the corner in the middle will man up on the bunch side number 2. Because the inside cornerback took the drag route from Jakeem Grant, the leverage advantage belonged to Denver. So the mesh concept that Tua originally intended to target was no longer an option. The issue with trap coverage, though, is it often creates confusion among defensive backs as to which receiver they're responsible for, which is exactly what happened here. Because of a completely blown coverage, Preston Williams was left wide open downfield, and even though Tua had more than enough time to find him, he took a sack instead. He was so locked into the play design that he left what should have been a touchdown on the field. One of the reasons why guys like Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, and Patrick Mahomes are so great is because they can dominate outside the structure of their offense. The NFL is trending away from pure pocket passers and toward Mahomes-style improvisational passers who can create big plays even when everything else is going wrong. Tua needs to improve his performance outside of the offensive structure in order to unlock his full potential and put himself in the conversation with some of the league's franchise quarterbacks. He already demonstrates an advanced understanding of protection calls and impressive pocket presence, but until he shows that he can consistently recognize blown coverages and extend plays, I'm going to hold out on calling him a true franchise quarterback. But that's going to do it for my first rookie review of the offseason. My next video will be on former Ohio State quarterback and NFL draft prospect Justin Fields, and where I believe he will find the most success in the NFL. You can follow me on Twitter at the link in the description, but that's all I've got for now, so I hope you guys enjoyed and that you'll be back for the next one. So until then, later.